concussion, first of all, is a type of brain injury.
A traumatic brain injury
is a serious brain injury.
Is a type of traumatic brain injury caused by a bump, blow, jolt to the head, or a fall or blow to the body that causes the head and brain to move quickly back and forth.
It is a complex pathophysiological event to the brain that's induced by trauma.
It is an alteration in brain function. It is a disturbance that's usually temporary. The brain quits working normally.
The brain looks normal on CAT scan or MRI, but it doesn't function normally.
My first and only concussion happened in competition on the last game of the season against Utah. I was diving for a ball and ended up kind of diving backwards and hitting my head on the post, knocking myself unconscious for a couple seconds.
Well, I got a concussion during the middle of our volleyball season. It was during a practice, and it was pretty much at the end of practice, so we're just going through the last drill of the day. I dove for a ball that was shanked off of someone's arm, and when I dove, hit my elbow, hit the back of my head, and I was a little slow to get up, and my teammate was looking at me kind of funny, but I didn't really notice anything at the time, just a headache from hitting my head on the ground.
We're in the match, heat of the moment, diving every which way. Dove for a ball, got it up, and then my teammate kind of stepped on me, and my head just went back onto the ground. It kind of felt something was off, and I went back in, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I don't think I'm okay. They didn't really say anything about it, and so I just kept on playing. And 2 days later, we had another match, and I'll never forget, it was on TV, and I dove for a ball again, and I got kicked in the head. And then this one, I went to stand back up, fell back down, stood up again, and they had to help me off the court.
They may be confused, they may have blurriness of vision, they may have headache, and all those types of symptoms are significant because it means the brain is not healed.
After the concussion, I felt really funny. I kind of felt like I was outside my body looking in on somebody else's life.
The emotional aspect of my concussion was where I saw the biggest difference. I'm not normally a person that cries or is overly emotional about anything, but over that week or 2 weeks of getting back into things, I actually found myself overly emotional, crying about little things and just my emotions being totally off skew.
I have to say, probably my major symptom would be obviously I had a bad headache. I hit my head on the ground, I got kicked in the head.
My trainer actually did not allow me to read anything, look at my computer, watch TV, listen to music.
I failed my first impact test that I took a couple days after the injury, and then a couple days after that I was able to retest, and I actually did pretty well. Some categories I even scored better on it than my initial test.
We need our 3 pieces of information before we know that they're ready to return to play. The first is they have to feel completely symptom-free, just the way they did before the event happened. 2, if they have testing, it should be back to baseline or better. 3, they need to have physical exertional testing. The athletic trainer will run them through a sequence of exercise to be sure that none of their symptoms return.
It's important that athletes are honest about their symptoms.
We don't want athletes to return with impaired brain function. It's for the very rare but real entity called second impact syndrome. Second impact syndrome is a very serious complication in an athlete who has had a previous concussion who is then re-injured.
I wasn't really educated about concussions before I actually got my concussion. The majority of the learning process for me was after, when I was talking to my trainer, I was talking to my academic coordinator who has seen multiple concussions before and has had to deal with these things. It's never really been a part of what I've known in sports. I've gotten hurt before, I've sprained an ankle, you go in the training room, you ice it, and you get back as soon as you can. With a concussion, once you start seeing things happen and you experience the emotions and the feelings and the just time that you have to take to get back into something, it really makes you step back and see, how dangerous something like this can be and how much it can affect your life.
Second time around when I got hit, it kind of made me step back a little bit because I finally realized, hey, this is serious, and the trainers told me your brain could bleed, you could, fall asleep, not wake up again. So it hit home a lot more on that second one, especially because just my symptoms were a lot higher. My symptom scale, I don't even know the number, but it was a lot more than that first time around. And then, I was like, okay, I got to make sure I'm 100%. As badly as I want to get back onto the court, I need to make sure I'm full go before I don't want to mess with my brain. As cliche as that sounds.